It was heartbreaking, devastating. It was that easily could have been me. Could have been.
You can say the Say Her Name campaign, say his name, and there's that feeling of enough is enough.
Part of it still surprises me that we're still talking about some of the same issues, just in a different time, and just in a different manner.
The police abuse that occurred in the civil rights movement, that was basically the first time audience was able to see the abuse.
Yes, because of the recent climate and recognizing also the political climate, because of the racialized incidents that have taken place, that have taken lives, such as Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, those created climates where there's unrest.
It's different because I'm a year older. For me, it's different because I'm able to see and to be exposed to more of our history.
It was heartbreaking, devastating. It was that easily could have been me. Could have been anybody that I knew, anybody that looks like me. And I think those officers saw themselves as judge, jury, and executioner.
There's a little bit of numbness, disappointment, simply because it's stuff like that is still happening. And those are, you can say the Say Her Name campaign, say his name, and there's that feeling of enough is enough.
To have your knee on the back of somebody's neck, can't breathe or anything, like that was a human being that was doing that to another human being at the end of the day.
No, the police, they're good individuals and they're bad individuals. There's individuals that do their job and uphold standards and those morals and that oath, and then there's other individuals that do not.
As I grew up, there was still some apprehensions about police. I think it just raised it a notch because, like I said, I've met good police officers and I've seen bad police officers.
The civil unrest and the police abuse that occurred in the civil rights movement, that was basically the first time audience was able to see the abuse of the police and the power and the authority in which they used it incorrectly.
Not necessarily. I'm not going to say that all of my interactions with police have been negative, but I can share plenty of stories of negative instances that have definitely shaped my perspective. 16 years old. My dad is at the time, I think he was a major in the Army. He had a Porsche at this time, and so he wanted to let me have some fun. So he's like, "Go ahead, take the car for a spin." Next thing I know, I'm pulled over by 3 different sheriffs with guns drawn on me, telling me to get out of the car. They handcuff me and tell me that I fit the description and that this car is stolen. But the weird thing is there was no other car like that in the state.
I think it's always been the same. My dad was in prison growing up. My uncles were in prison growing up. I'd seen it. I had friends who had gone to jail, different things like that. And so it just culturally, like they're not your quote unquote friends. So when you're driving and different things like that. And I think now it's pretty similar. And then as a Black woman who has shorter hair, like that, just, it doesn't really work out in my favor more times than not.
It's not new, but it's not right. When we think about the history of our forefathers, or at least my forefathers, that slavery and white oppressive systems have been put in place, even though it's over 400 years of Blacks enduring the hurt, the pain, persecution of not being valued or seen. So that part of it still surprises me that we're still talking about some of the same issues, just in a different time, and just in a different manner.
I think it's horrible. I think it's wrong. So, and that's just, when you say system, that's multiple systems here in America, not just the police system, but there's multiple systems in America where that exists.
I think it's been successful. So I think that it was created that way for a reason, to keep us oppressed. I think the systemic racism that exists is so deeply rooted that it's just a part of everyday business. It's one of the reasons why we at Pierce College go through such great lengths of teaching students, faculty, and staff about being an anti-racist institution and what things to look for in that process, because we realize, the depths of how deep this runs. But yeah, I think that it's been successful.
I think it needs to be dismantled. I think that it's steeped into our entire system, obviously, hence systematic, from the hiring processes to everything about higher education to financial institutions to how everything is set up to the neighborhoods to food deserts to banking deserts to the way that people just interpret life. I'm going through my doctoral process right now, and all I see is systematic racism steeped into the process, and it's very difficult. So I can only imagine for a student who is younger and is still just going through this. And I think it's unfortunate that a lot of, younger students who are first generation college goers, or even some first generation high school completers, like that's something else. That there's a lot of barriers that come into play that are based off of systematic racism issues.
No. Historically, when you look at America, you say where there's change. Of course, there's change. Each and every day changes. Change, well, there's progress, we continue to make progress. Well, we're not here, but look where we're at here. Yet also, let's look at the other individuals, the other cultures that are here with us, and let's look at that gap in all areas, in education, wealth, health. Let's look at also when we say change. No, it's not going to change. Why? It's because that's how it was designed.
I think in micro steps, I think people are growing in awareness. And I think, just the term true change, I think there's definitely been change historically that is continuing to happen. I think the word true is kind of hard to say because it can be subjective, where the truth is subjective depending on the person. I mean, look at the justice system. What is justice? On one side, it means one thing. On the other side, it means another thing. So I think change is here. How much? It depends.
I always have to believe that true change is coming. Like, if I don't, then who will? Hopefully there's more of us out there that believe that true change is coming. I've seen change. I've seen the potential of what change can look like and what it can do. I know the overall hearts of just humans in general, and I know that we are built to be better than what we are right now.